It is the Bears and Bengals for just the 12th time in the history of the series. We'll get you a game preview here from PNC Studios here at Halas Hall. I'm Jeff Joniak along with Tom Thayer. The Bengals coming in with Joe Burrow, the number one pick 2 years ago. Tom coming off an ACL tear and a nasty one in Week 11 last year. So he is back and healthy and slinging it once again. And last year put up an NFL record, on average, 41 pass attempts a game. Joe Mixon, the outstanding running back, was hurt most of the year last year, but that seems a lot for any quarterback.
It is a lot, but, it kind of shakes me up that saying this is only 12 times these two teams have played, because you're really not familiar with your opponent. So you really have to study a lot this week just to become familiar with tendencies, techniques, fundamentals, and philosophical thinking of the coaches. So I think there's a lot of preparation that's going to go into this game. And Joe Burrow, he burst onto the scene, last year, second game of the year, Thursday night game, he threw 61 passes. So he only threw 27 in his first game this year. So in between that 27 and 61, you're going to see Joe Burrow throw the ball.
Against a very good Vikings defense, and they hit him. They sacked him 5 times. So I'm sure there was a lot of deep breaths in Cincinnati. But, because of Bill Lazor, he knows a lot of those Cincinnati Bengals, and so that helps.
But it's going to be about the talent, studying the talent. Each one of these guys, depending upon the position they play, they're going to have to go out and study, the way the defensive coordinator is thinking and what he's going to do on certain downs and distances. And then Matt Nagy, the play caller, is going to have to study the defensive philosophies as well, like Sean Desai.
For 10 years, Andy Dalton wore a Cincinnati Bengals jersey. The red rifle fit the color scheme in Cincinnati. And yes, there's orange in Bears uniforms as well. And he had his debut last week, completed a lot of short passes, 71% on average. Bears scored just 14 in L.A. against the Rams. A red zone interception certainly thwarted some of that progress. The running game kicked in. Nice day for David Montgomery. And I made clear to talk with Matt Nagy on the Coaches Show on WBBM on Monday night that this is not the Bears' offense. It was for that particular night against the L.A. Rams to focus on getting the ball out quick and having guys make plays after the catch and stay away from the deep ball. That's not the Bears' offense for 2021. It's a game-by-game analysis. Against the Bengals, what do you anticipate?
Once you play a game and you have something on tape, the Bengals are going to study what you were doing offensively and what the Rams did against the Bears that was successful against them. And then somewhere in between there, then they're going to outline their game plan. But I think the Bears have a lot of building blocks from that first week performance of really positive things. David Montgomery, Damian Williams were really solid at the running back position. I think Andy Dalton made a lot of really good decisions in the passing game. Allen Robinson, the tight end position, Darnell Mooney, they're all going to become the weapons that are asked of them, whether it's blitz pickup or downfield passing.
All right, what are they going up against? The Bengals defense last year, you go down the list, all of it, bottom of the league. They didn't generate much pressure. They didn't take the ball away. They gave up the most big plays in the National Football League. But they've invested in it significantly. $100 million in Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson to rush the passer. Larry Ogunjobi, coming on a one-year deal from Cleveland, is getting it done inside. Great safety pairing in Von Bell, who lined up in 5 different places on Sunday at my count. And, of course, Jesse Bates, an outstanding safety who's looking for a big contract. I mean, there's a lot on defense added to the mix, and although they made things interesting, Kirk Cousins had to throw the ball a lot, and he got hit quite a bit as well.
Well, you better concentrate on blocking the line of scrimmage to give Andy Dalton and the quarterbacks a chance to succeed. There's a little vulnerability at that outside corner position, so if you give Andy Dalton time, develop that pocket, a little bit of play action, I think there's players that you can take advantage of. Trey Waynes, he has an injury, so they're playing Eli Apple. So I do think that because of the great unknown of the left tackle position of the Bears, they're going to have some development over there.
I don't quite know what to expect from the Bengals defense, because in their preseason opener, they started the game with 3 defensive tackles on the line of scrimmage to an effort to get better at the run. That's what they did. Then later in the series, they had a guy lined up as an interior pass rusher from the defensive end position. Then they had Trey Hendrickson line up as an off-the-ball linebacker, and he actually got an interception in the preseason. So is this the great unknown with Cincinnati and what they might throw against the Bears?
Well, the first game of the year, expect the unexpected because there's not a lot of video evidence that these guys are studying. Now when you talk about how everybody has to be combined in the pass blocking efforts to protect the quarterback, you put different pieces in different places, now it creates confusion. If you create confusion on the line of scrimmage with just a half a second of hesitancy, that's when you create a vulnerability.
All right, let's talk about the Bears' defense. They must improve. Some missed opportunities, obviously. Tackling still could get better in the secondary. The big plays got to stop.
The defensive line has to be more aggressive. They got to get their feet over the line of scrimmage. There was a couple times when I was watching the running game and their feet never crossed the line of scrimmage, and that creates a positive for the opponent's offensive line. Listen, man, if you want to create havoc on that offensive line, you put Akeem Hicks in a position where he has a one-on-one against anybody. He can disrupt the entire flow of an offensive play. You know, Sean Desai can get creative and use the assets they have and the power they have, and all you have to do is put someone into the backfield, and that can screw up the entire play.
All right, let's look at the injury situation. Again, we don't know what's going to happen by the end of the week, but losing 2 left tackles in a game, you're glad you have a guy like Andy Dalton at quarterback during that period of time because he's seen everything in his career, could settle everybody down. But it is an acute situation right now.
Yeah, but they're fortunate they have Elijah Wilkinson. Here's a guy that's been here throughout OTAs, a mandatory minicamp, all through training camp. He's been working at both the right and the left side. So when he was inserted in the lineup, it wasn't like they had to ignore any portion of their game plan. It's just, hey, maybe you got a tight end over there. Maybe you got J.P. Holtz hook up next to that left tackle, giving him a little bump before he goes out. So there's devised schemes that you can take care of that position and put a little bit more emphasis on Cody to the right.
Really loved having 2 backs.
Me too.
You know, it happened, I think, 4 times with Damian Williams and David Montgomery. Talking to Bill Lazor about that, it's a great design to just get as many mismatches as you possibly can. Throw more on the table the defense has to prepare for.
In my career, I never broke a huddle without 2 backs. So that's something that's kind of changed along the way, offensively thinking. But now you can take tight end and have him be a fullback. You can take Damian Williams and put him out there as a fullback, as a halfback, as a pass-catching running back. So, again, that's part of the creativity that the coaches search for each week.
All right, we wrap it up with special teams. Khalil Herbert made his NFL debut and a 50-yard return to start. He had a 24-yard return as well. I mean, that's a heck of a start and a good get-your-feet-wet moment for the rookie.
Yeah, but we are 9 floors above this playing surface, and I almost jumped out of the booth because he hesitated so much when he caught it.
Okey doke.
Like you said, he got everybody condensed in one area and busted it out to the right.
You know how many times Devin Hester did that?
You
just really never knew. You know, you're like, okay, is he going? Is he going?
Listen, Khalil Herbert, Devin Hester.
I know.
I think there's couple more returns that you have to start mentioning those 2 names in the same sentence.
Exactly. So we'll be looking forward to it. We'll have it for you on the radio starting at 9 a.m. with our pregame coverage. Noon the kickoff on 105.9 WBBM. The visit for the first time since 2013 from the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bears looking to get to 1-1 in a winless NFC North for the first time, according to our research analyst Doug Coletti, since the merger in 1970 after 1 week of the season. With Tom Thayer, I'm Jeff Joniak. Thanks for watching.